What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. Roman Reigns, talked a little bit about AEW and CM Punk, and he had an interview. This is on Fox Sports Radio, the iHeart.com, and Roman Reigns was sit down and he had an interview. This is right before Smackdown AEW was about to go head to head. He had an interview, interview Complex published, the Complex thing, interviewed him about AEW and all that stuff like that. So they said fittingly, the man whose character proudly calls himself the Tribal Chief acknowledged that there's a lot of passion and tribalism among wrestling fans who compare the two companies, but said they are catering to two different demographics. And this is what Roman Reigns said. So I'm going to read what Roman said from my quote. Then me and then he said a lot here, but then we'll give our own personal opinion about it. He says, "No, I mean, for me personally, this is one of those subjects that's very subjective, and there's a lot of passion and tribalism that really sways and creates an unbiased opinion. But I can only speak from my perspective. I'm one of those guys who will compete at anything. Like, I beat you. I bet you I can eat that cookie faster. I want to be the best at anything that I choose to do. We pull up we pull up on lawnmowers. We cut the yard in half. I'm going to beat you. My side will look better than yours. Sue me." Is it supposed to say sue me? It says so me. Sue me. I don't see the real competition with AEW because I think their fans base legitimately is a hardcore fan base. So there's like a ceiling and a built-in ground to their viewership. The WWE is trying to connect with everyone. We're trying to connect with the mainstream. We're trying to pull in the casual fan. We're trying to engage the new viewer while also servicing our hardcore fan base and give them compelling stories to fulfill them as well. I don't know if I've said it before, but I say it before when the audience is probably the biggest character. It said when the audience is the biggest character on your show, it's strange to me. You hear it all the time, the reviews and the comparison. I think because they are the new kids on the block, they're the cool kids in town. I guess because of how premature and how novel it kind of still is. I think they're still being babied by those hardcore wrestling fans, which is fine. That's great. I don't think anybody's going to ever, especially from a performance standpoint, say, "Oh no, there's more opportunities out there." That sucks. So it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing for professional wrestling. It's just a weird argument because there's so much bias and there's so much I'm on this side or I'm going to open my and I'm not going to open my mind to the other side. It goes both ways. And then as far as competition, no, not to me, Reigns added. There might be some other people on our roster who maybe think that they need to dig deep and get better as performers, and what they do out there at the art form, but there's nobody in the world, was it the whole world, any other promotion in WWE, I'm better at this art form than anybody else. And I stand down. That is totally that's the totality of it. I'm not just talking about, oh, his spots are good and he counters real well. That stuff don't mean anything to me. When you tally it all up, nobody touches me in this business. So, Prime,
what's up?
Give me your thoughts on all that all that mumbo jumbo. I play all that stuff that I just read. Does Roman
I
have a
think
point?
Roman has a point, but it does sound. I don't want to say he has a point that sounds bitter at the same time, but it kind of does. It's like he's saving face, but also like it's weird.
Well,
Because for him, because everything he said all at once. That's why I'm thinking. Because he said, "Oh, CM Punk don't move the needle." He's saying, "Oh, they not doing this. Oh, they not doing that." It's like he has something to say every week, and it just sounds bitter when you keep saying it.
well,
And
there.
I know you probably say, well, they say stuff too, but it's like AEW. Honestly, AEW, the superstars on that roster truly believe that they are the best wrestling company in the world. And the numbers that they get, some numbers and key demographics or whatever, beat SmackDown's numbers. So I understand. But I don't really see anybody outside of the numbers and the demographics, just randomly attacking WWE unless it's an inside joke or whatever. I guess to pop themselves. Other than that, I don't see them actively like out talking about it.
I well, once again, I'm not going to get on Roman for too much because he was interviewed. It's like, okay, here's an interview.
Yeah.
I want to give you guys my opinion. There are some things that he does have a effect on. AEW does cater more to the hardcore wrestling fans. Like WWE fan base will not understand the the totality or the whole thing about a Bryan Danielson versus a Minoru Suzuki. They won't get it like the hardcore wrestling fan will understand that. They won't understand those kind of things. And they do try to pull it to a different demographic than, probably AEW does. But does that mean that AEW cannot pull into that demographic? No, that does not mean that at all. But they're probably going to have a different way of going about it. Like, cause I know, WWE tries to go a lot for the kids and stuff like that, but AEW, has things that the kids are liking, such as Orange Cassidy is a big part of that.
Uh-huh.
Orange Cassidy, as much as I do not like them, the Dark Order, Best Friends, those are a couple of gimmicks that are coming to my mind that like kids will gravitate towards, that is not too, I guess, violent and over the top. Those are the kind of the Jurassic Express with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Those kind of gimmicks the kids can get behind and support and all that kind of stuff like that. I just think Private Party used to be like that, but not now. But they used to be like that also.
Yeah,
So I really think that, huh?
I just think that it's a lot that just a lot of stuff going on, and I know people are angsty back and forth, but I
But
just think that
but this is what people understand is this is great. Like I would not want AEW to fail. It's like I wouldn't want WWE to fail because when you have competition, you tend like it'll be a good time to be a wrestling fan because you're going to get the best from both worlds. And sometimes, look, it's easier. It is easier to shun WWE for what they do wrong because they've been doing it for so long and they've been around for so long. They should know better, opposed to what something AEW does. But then, like, I don't ever want to close my mind to anything like that. Like, if WWE does something wrong, you're going to hear me say it. If AEW does something wrong, you're going to hear me say it. Because AEW is not perfect neither, but it's a counterbalance because one of the worst things that happened in the wrestling business is in 2001 when WCW died. And it was unhealthy, and we've seen what happened with the wrestling business since then. I think that's why we're so burnt out with WWE because it's been for a while.
Yeah, they kind of got lackadaisical with not having to really doing competition things. They were just like, all right,
I mean, but that just goes with almost anything in life. When it comes to books, video games, or sports, or whatever the case may be, if there's something that it can show that I can be better, and it's something that's creeping up to the side, but like, yo, I really can, draw the fan in this way. Now, look, I don't know what people don't understand. AEW got that console game coming out. That console game is going to attract the hardcore fans, but it's also going to attract some of the casual fans because they're probably going to look at it as being easier to pick up and deal with than a 2K game will be. Those help bring in casuals. Those help bring in all the other things also, opposed to just, the hardcore fan. I think what WWE needs to do also is to go back to trying to cater to the hardcore fan. Because I think WWE sometimes feels though that their fan base is stupid. Or that we won't know the difference. Or they don't want to insult our intelligence, but they end up insulting it even more. And that's something that I'm not really necessarily cool with. So, from that standpoint, I'm glad that we got two companies. And we got a better form of competition. So Roman's not wrong in that regard. If Roman wants to talk a little shit because he's a champion, he go ahead, be my guest, talk the shit. But right now they're gonna try to keep giving us some good wrestling, so we gotta enjoy that while this stuff lasts. Because the couple times that they did beat them in the demo, it's like, oh, the WWE is watching. That 1840 to 49 demographic is something that it seems like WWE cares a lot about. And they do not like it if they lose the demographic on Smackdown or Raw, whatever the case may be. So, look, like I said, he got a point. He got a point in certain things, but there's some things I'm just like, it can go either or.
Yeah.